Okay, let's get going. Round number 1, our first game. As I've said many times, my personal favorite opening is to play e4 here. Yeah, we get e4 e5 and play knight f3. I would say, I mean, I don't know how to explain this necessarily, but with white, I feel like openings for beginners where you get both of the bishops out very quickly and you get some kind of center are the best openings. So even if it's not like a set theme, I feel like openings like the Scotch are very good because you get the knights out, bishops, and you get castled. Now bishop c5 is one of the dangerous lines. If you do play the Scotch, you have to know what to do. In this game, I'm going to play the safe setup. I'm going to go bishop e3 to guard the knight, and then I'm going to play c3 to reinforce the knight, so that I get this nice little central box here. And if he plays queen f6, so the point is you get both knights out. Like, see, d6 is not the best move, but you know what, I don't want to just win this game the way that I would at the top, which is I would trade, give him the 3 pawns, and win. I'd take, and I would win with the triple stack. But just to show you guys, I'm going to play knight c3 instead. And the reason that I refer to these openings is because you see how the knights get out quickly. You get a piece of the center with the pawn at e4, you get both knights out, both bishops have open free diagonals, and you get the king out of the center of the board. And I think it's very important to note that. So okay, he goes knight f6. Now I'm going to play h3 to stop knight to g4 here. Actually, you know what, let's just go for it. Why not? No reason not to. Okay, so problem for my opponent here is to get these pawns that are stacked, which are not very good here. I can simply guard the central pawn. I'm reinforcing the connect 3, so I reinforce my central pawn point, and eventually I intend to go after these pawns. Let's go b3 to stop him from pushing the pawn, maybe knight a4 to hit the weakness. Pawns when they're stacked are very brittle and weak because they don't have any protection. If black could put this pawn here on b6, black would be fine, but the pawns are just very, very loose and isolated. They're all alone. This pawn here, a pawn here, or here, and black would be fine. Pawns on a7, so now I go knight a4 going after the pawn. So yeah, it's very, very hard to play this position for black. He goes knight d7. I'm just going to castle now, put pressure on the knight, which guards the pawn. So he plays rook to b8 here. Okay, logical move. Now I'm just going to develop my bishop, try to bring the last piece on the board. I want to go rook d2 and rook d1. So I basically want to stack my 2 towers in the center part of the board to put more pressure on the knight on d7 here. That's the plan. So he gets c4, which is actually an excellent move. Excellent move for my opponent. I did not think a 500 could play this move, but it's a very, very good move, because now when I take the pawn, even though I have an extra pawn, I have stacked pawns too, and there's no weakness anymore that I can threaten to capture on c5. So c4 is an excellent move. And then he goes rook b4, another move that objectively is very good. Now in this situation it doesn't work, but it's a good try to hit the pawn and hit the knight at the same time. But now I can go knight c5 because I play against this pin. And now he has to deal with this pin where he has a lot of problems here on the d file. And for anyone who's wondering, it's obviously unrated because we don't want players losing their rating and then like getting really upset or worried. You could of course run into Smurfs like, you know, I'm gonna win this game, and it's not right that I win this game and I take rating points off of my opponent. So we get a5 here, and now it's let's see what I should do. I think what I should do is I should play rook d4, line up the classic double stack in honor of Dave Thomas on the d file, and with this double stack here he's gonna have big problems down the road. Botez Gambit speedrun's coming back a little bit later on in the stream. So okay, we get a4, so I'm gonna go rook d1, line up the double stack as expected. Big pressure. He's going to lose some material, so he goes rook b8, but now I will just trade everything off, and at the end of the day I have an extra bishop here, and my bishop on e2 will eventually play later on. Now right now the bishop is very passive behind all these pawns, but eventually, as you're gonna see, I'll probably push the pawn and open up the scope on the diagonal for this bishop. Dave Thomas. Yes, Dave Thomas, you guys. Of course, everybody's had a double stack, right? I mean, that's, oh, well, I'm not, I could take the rook and win the game because he is 1 defending, I have 2 attacking, so I win, but I won't do it. I'll go c5 instead to open up the scope and show you guys how to win this, because obviously I could just take and win, but I want to show you guys what to do with the other piece. So I want to bring the bishop into the game, and now with the active bishop on the scope, I will win very soon. The speed run, yeah, I had to stop because I went to play the World Cup, so I couldn't continue it. But I think we're up to like 2400, so we're getting close. Now I'm gonna take and go for a classic Castle Mania and the kebab on the 7th rank here with Rook D to D7. So he goes Rook C8. I'd love to keep the rooks on the board. So let's get the kebab. Also, Castle Mania with rooks on the 7th is what Michelle Kerr called it, for anyone who's wondering. You get the rooks on the 7th rank, and she was calling this Castle Mania. So if you get the 2 rooks on the 7th rank, we now call it Castle Mania. In the old days, the proper chess term would have been doubled rooks on the 7th rank, but we no longer use proper chess terms. Chess has really been like it's been dumbed down a lot by a lot of these like weird influencers like Hikaru and Levi Roseman and Alexander Botez. So for anybody who's a serious chess player, make sure that you are aware of the proper terminology and not what all these idiotic influencers are coming up with. So we get King G6 being played here. Now this unfortunately is a blunder because I can play Rook takes G7, which just wins the game here. Let's keep going. That's just checkmate on G7. Okay, so we're playing Brad Praxis here. Next game we have the black pieces. Like I said, a lot of openings that I like for white are where you get both the knights in the classic development. With black, not so easy. And I think that with black, generally I do think e5 is one of the better choices to play, because you do get most of that development. You get to bring out the knights, bring out the bishop, push the pawn, develop the other bishop normally. So we'll go here, guard the pawn on e5, get d4. Now I'm going to take, okay, so I'm going to go knight f6 to hit the pawn on e4 here. So he trades. Now one thing that's very important is that when you're gonna get pawns stacked, you almost always want to capture towards the center of the board. So if I'm doubling pawns here, I want to capture this way, right? You want to capture towards this file and this file. The E file and D file are the 2 critical files in chess, so you want to capture towards them. So like if you're capturing, you want to capture this way, like you want to capture towards the center, or capture like this way. So it's like you capture this way or you capture this way, but you want to get the pawn stack where you're going right towards the center. Basically, that's the bottom line. So let's go d5, and now I'm gonna take with the pawn. Goes to e5. Now I remember this is very similar to a line that I studied before I played a game in Hungary. I believe it was 2001. I played in a international norm tournament. I played this Hungarian player Pal Patron. Now in that game, bishop b4, knight c3 have been included. So for example, I'm saying d5, knight c3, bishop b4, and then e5. And the reason I bring that game up is because I remember when I played that event, I was there with my mom, and we took the train from our hotel to I think it was the Keleti Poo station in the center of Budapest, and then we got to the club like an hour early, and I had this book on the Scotch opening by Gary Lane. It was like this orange and gray cover, and before the game for an hour I was just literally reading through the book pages, and I had a board in front of me, and I was making the moves on the board and reading the book. Now in the modern age, we no longer do that anymore. Once again, one of the byproducts of technology ruining everything. But that's where I remember looking at this line. So we get bishop f4. I'm gonna go bishop c5 to attack the pawn on f2 here. He castles, and now I think I'm gonna play g5, attacking the bishop here, because I've got great pieces out. Bishop is trying to hold, but now I can really go after the bishop. He's got all kinds of trouble on the king side here. So this is a very, very bad line to play for white. Very, very dangerous to play like this. Now obviously at the beginner level, probably g5 h5 isn't realistic, but we are playing at 1400, so at the 1500 level, these sorts of ideas can come into play. And as you see, white has all these pieces not in the game. I have a great scope, I've got a great knight, and now I'm just going to keep going with h4 here to attack the bishop on g3. If it goes bishop h2, I'm going to take, and I'm just going to go g4 and queen g5. And very quickly, the 2 bishops are harassing the king, and it's very, very scary for white to play here. Very, very scary, because he's got all these pieces that do nothing. Bishop looks nice, nothing on the diagonal. The scope is scoping at thin air. The knight and rook aren't in the game. Queen's not in the game either, so I have queen g5, and very, very quickly I can also, if I move the queen and the bishop, castle either way with my king. Let's go here, And look at D's bishops. King can go either way to castle, so I'm not really worried that I push the P on the king side here. Okay, so he goes queen f3. So now I think I will is there a way to win quickly? I don't see it. I'm gonna take the pawn with check. Yeah, it's a very strong attack. Now bishop g4 is better, but still goes king h1. Now I think I'm gonna go here, line up the double A battery and try to checkmate him with the queen and the bishop here. And again, these pieces not in the game. Bishop staring at thin air. Now I take. If he takes the bishop, he gets checkmated on h2. Once again, double A battery. That's how you win games of chess. No, I'm not worried to castle. Actually, to be completely honest, g5 h5 is very, very dangerous. It's actually very, very dangerers. Now my opponent finds f4, which is an excellent move. It's not about him being 1400. I actually would play this at the top level too, because his whole e5 bishop f4 line is actually inaccurate because of what I just mentioned. The whole bishop c5 g5 h5 is actually very, very strong. So he goes f4. So now I will move my queen to guard the bishop. Rook e1 was no good, because if he plays rook e1, I just take. The rooks aren't power coupled yet because the knight's in the way, so I just take. The knight is not out. If the knight was out, he could go there, but if he goes here, I take, and he can't recapture. So all right, he goes queen e3. I'm gonna move my king, and now I'm just gonna bring the rooks here. King, by the way, very safe in the center of the board. I've got the pawns for the protection and the bishop, so all these pawns support the king in the middle, and now I can just bring everything over to the king side to just checkmate him. No, g5 h5 is actually legitimately the best way to play this. It is. Yeah, I didn't do it because he's 1400. I did it because it's the actual best way to play it. Goes rook e1, and now I'm going to play rook to e8. My rooks are coupled together, and see the knight and the rook still not in the game. He's still missing the finishing pieces. And now I just go h3. I have bishop f3 if he pushes, and this is going to fall apart because all my pieces are active, and he's got two pieces that haven't come into the game yet. These pieces are just out there taking their siesta for the whole day, not even bothering to go to work for a few hours. So he plays queen g3. I will take now, and now I've got the open lane. I'm going to go check. Rook guards the queen, and now I'm going to go check. King is stuck, no squares, has to block with the queen, and then I go rook h2 and rook g2 checkmate. So the way this game will conclude is queen e3, rook h2 check, king g3, rook g2, simply checkmate here. Nowhere for the king to move. Okay, again, gonna play e4. Actually, you know, I never did ask my stepfather. I'll probably ask him when I see him this week, about the openings that he taught me as a kid, because I actually do believe like there is a synergy to the openings he taught me, but he never actually said that. So I do kind of wonder if there was a synergy or if it's just based off his own play. So see, we get d6. Now I would tell people who are beginners, do not play openings like the modern with the black piece. You cannot give your opponent a lot of space. When you give your opponents too much space in the center at the beginner level, even frankly the lower intermediate levels, it's too hard to play. And I'm actually going to show you guys why. Okay, so I'm gonna go d5 here. Now this is not the best move, but I'm gonna show you why. I'm gonna immediately take a ton of space in the center of the board, and I'm going to punish him very, very seriously, as you will see. Again, this is not normally what I would play, but I just want to show you guys one example of why you should not let your opponent get all the space in the center. Let's go knight f3. I'm going to play bishop c4 here. I want a castle next move too, but see, he's lacking. How do you finish this development? It's very, very hard. You can't really develop this bishop. The knight's in the way. Can't really push the pawn. Rook's not great. King rook knight, not in great shape either. Goes queen b6. So I'm going to go c3 here. I want to break this threat towards b2, and I want to stop queen b4. So c3 is dual purpose move. So he goes knight f6. So again, now I'm going to go e5. I'm just going to keep thrusting forward with the pawns, and he's really in trouble. You don't get burned out playing chess. Sometimes I do, but mostly I don't, because I'm not as good at anything else. And frankly, it pays the bills. So yeah. He goes knight e4 here. So now what I'm going to do is, I think here I'm going to go queen e2, and I'm going to ask my friend, where is your horse going? Your horse does not really have squares available to it in this position. So where's the horse going? So he takes. So see, and already I'm going to trade the knights, take his knight on e4, and he's simply down a horse. He doesn't have a horse, and because he's missing his horse, he won't be able to survive, and now he loses the bishop, and it's over. And this is why I really don't recommend playing openings like the modern. You give your opponent too much space, and even though what I did with d5 is not the best approach, it's, if you don't know what to do exactly at the lower levels, you definitely aren't going to know what to do. You're going to get absolutely steamrolled. How come I haven't been streaming as much? I haven't been streaming as much because I was playing the FIDE World Cup. That's why. Top players, no. Again, chess is different depending on the level you're at. If you're at the top levels, it's completely different because the top players know how to play for pawn breaks. They would know how to take advantage of an imprecise move like d5. So yeah, like it's different. The levels depend. Now I go d6, opening up the scope. You're probably wondering why rook e8 didn't work. If you played rook e8, I would have had d6 with the discovered check, king to h8, and bishop g7 checkmate. So now I go check and mate. I'll explain that in a second because I didn't actually explain that. But basically what I was going to explain is, yeah, if you played rook e8, which is the obvious move to attack the queen and pin it, I have d6 checking the king, moves the king, and then bishop g7 is checkmate because the king can't move anywhere. All right, so next game, let's keep going. Yeah, actually not a high chance. I'm playing people all over. I'm playing 500s, 1500s, sometimes 1900s. Now my opponent plays f4. I'm going to play d5, open up scope for the bishop. Let's bring out the bishop, push the pawn, knight, bishop, develop, finish very, very quickly. How's it going, Dr. Curious George? Hope you're having a great Friday too. Plays g3. Let's go knight f6, e6 here. And now I finish the development, get the king out. I can also just bring the knights out. I'm gonna play c5 to gain some space for the knight. With the pawns in front of the knights, should be a little bit better here to play. How to play these modern approaches? Don't bother. I mean, I don't know what your rating is, Kushikrakov, but in general, unless your rating is probably like 17, 1800, and by that I mean over the board, it's probably like 2000 plus online. Do not play the modern. Do not play it. I think it's a very difficult opening to play. So I'm gonna go bishop e7 and castle. Now I got the bishop out, knights are out here, very, very good position, and I can castle next turn. So yeah, I would not recommend playing the modern unless you're already very high rated. By only up, I beat only up before I went on my trip. If you're referring to Madway, I may play Madway later today and rage quit again, but hopefully not. So let's castle. What makes an opening difficult? It's more about the themes and the placement of the pieces. That's what makes certain openings very difficult to play, is that if the ideas aren't obvious, strong players can figure it out. But if you don't have the experience, like generally what I would say about chess at the beginner level, this probably applies up to like 1000 level online, like 1000 plus, is look at the basically what you want is knights on these squares, c6, f6, or f3, c3, knights on these two squares for either side, and you want the bishops out. You want the bishops on these diagonals versus the fianchettos. The fianchettos are playable, but in general I don't recommend them until you're of a very, very decent level, very, very high level. I would say, like, you have to be like, you have to spend serious time playing chess. Knight h4 is actually a good move here. I'm gonna go bishop g4. No human will ever be as good as Stockfish because we are, as Agent Smith would say, he is still only human. Actually, I don't think Agent Smith said that. I think it was one of the other agents who said it. But again, at the end of the day, we are still only human. So no human can play without emotion and other factors going on during the game. I'll give you an example, and this is straight out of the Matrix. But you know, if you're playing a game of chess, you know, you're playing on the board and you're trying to focus on the game, and the girl in the red dress walks by, you probably look and you're like, okay, the girl in the red dress walking by the chessboard is going to affect your concentration. You're going to lose your train of thought, and you're probably not going to play the best move. Let's go knight to d4 here, attacking the pawn on c2. I'm not saying that you won't still find a good move, but your train of thought, you're going to lose your concentration. So if you're thinking about playing something, you're going to lose your concentration. Then you're going to look, and then your opponent is going to say, look again. And you're going to look and see an agent. Exactly. Anyway, all right. E4 is a bad move here, by the way, because now I'm threatening the pawn on c2. And after knight h3, just take. There's actually no way to guard it because the bishop covers the critical square. So either you push the pawn and there's knight c2 forking the queen and the rook, or you play another move and you hang the pawn and you still get forked. Let's play knight takes a1. Yeah. Hikaru, you're married now. There are no attractive women to you but one. That's not the purpose of the story, I'm saying, you guys. Jeez. Let's take the knight. That's not the point, though. I think you guys get the point. I literally used a Matrix story to prove the point. Take the pawn and trade the queens. Now, I have an extra rook here on the board, so I don't mind trading the queens. How do I come up with these analogies? I don't know. It just came to my head. It just came to my head. I mean, it's a pretty good analogy. Let's go knight c2 here. Yeah, I know in the Matrix story, Neo got shot in the face by the Asian. I get your point, you guys, but you still understand what I'm saying. I'm saying that no human can play like Stockfish because our understanding is simply not good enough. So you get e3, not the best move. Again, I'm going to get a lot of space here. I'm going to play d5, develop the bishop, and push the pawn and finish my development very, very quickly again. He goes bishop d3, offering the trade. Now, I'm trying to think at the beginner level what the best move is to play here. It's definitely not e6 because you don't want double pawns. I think bishop g6 is probably one of the ways. And again, we're capturing towards the center. You want to always capture towards the center if you're going to get the stacked pawns, not away from the center. Now, it's not always true, but most of the time it is. Play e6, open up the diagonal. Let's go c5, knight c6, and bishop d6. Try to develop very quickly here. I was 7 years old when I first started playing. I'm going to go bishop d6. And this is actually a big mistake here because now we see why the double stack pawns aren't actually that bad, because it opened up a lane for my rook here. So now I can sack the bishop on h2 like a Greek gift, also known as the Trojan horse. And after knight takes bishop, I go queen h4. Goes king h1. Let's go knight f6 if he takes. I think I have knight. Oh, I blundered. I actually just blundered. Let's go knight e4 here. I thought I had knight g4, but the queen could capture. So he goes knight e1. So now the way that I'm going to try to win is we're going to play queen c7 to target the horse. I'm now going to castle, and I intend to double stack my rooks on the h file. Let's go rook h3, rook h8. Here comes the big double stack with the rooks. I don't care about anything over on this side of the board. I'm just getting ready to murder the king on h2. Let's or checkmate the king, sorry. Let's play rook takes h2 check. And now I'm gonna play knight takes pawn. If he takes, I take with the queen. And it's just checkmate. Let's keep going. Next game. Let's play e4 again. Sorry, I'm being a little bit too loosey goosey. Now what I'm going to play is the opening I played as a child, which is of course the Grand Prix attack in honor of the great French people, with e4, knight c3, and f4. Again, very simple. Bring the bishop out, push the pawn, and you'll see the theme is very similar. The bishop is outside the pawn chain. Develop the knight, castle, and I've got bishops on both of these diagonals. The knights are out, so there is a very serious theme to the openings that I'm playing. So let's go queen to e1, queen to h4, f5, and bishop h6. Very straightforward and to the point. Good morning, chat. Yes, exactly. Goes knight h5. Now I could trade the queens, but I'm going to stick to the themes of trying to checkmate him with queen h3 and g4, kick the knight out. Now e5 is a very poor move because he reopened the diagonal. Back here, diagonal's kind of closed. The pawn wall blunts the power of the bishop, but now it suddenly opens up the bishop on the long diagonal. No way to contest the bishop because I cover this square with the pawn, so you can't try to trade the b shops. So now I've got an open diagonal. Everything is coming into play here. We'll go g4. Lots of stuff. All the pieces here are very, very active for me. Actually, g4 was not the best move. I should have played knight d5, but it's still very good. Yeah, he goes here. I'll take. And now what I'm going to actually do is play knight d5, try to go after the pawn, maybe push for f6 here. But again, all my pieces are very, very active. There's a lot of harmony in the position. Goes bishop e5. I think I'm going to go queen h6 with the idea of playing knight to g5 and going for checkmate on h7 here. I could also try to get the lolly mate with knight takes e5, f6, and mate him on g7 with the queen. But we'll see. Yeah, I would say I'm the best teacher, but there's a serious flow to the openings that I played as a kid growing up, and I do highly recommend them. So I can go knight g5, but I think everyone wants to see a lolly instead. So let's go knight takes e5. I play f6. Knight guards the pawn. There's the mate on g7. Anytime you fianchetto the bishop, you have to be aware of the lolly checkmate. You have to be aware of it. If you lose your fianchettoed bishop. So now it's just queen g7 because he gave up the bishop, and that's game over. Let's keep going. Keep a little bit of beer. It helps with making better heroic moves. I look best after about 3 to 4 days, basically. Yeah, I mean, I think my opening explanations are generally the best, actually. I think in terms of openings, like the general development of where your piece belongs is very, very critical, actually. F? Did I drop frames? What was F about? Actually, I do see some drop frames. Go knight c6. Okay, so he plays c4. There's a Panziani opening with c3 and d4. Let's play knight f6, named after the great Italian Panziani. Let's play knight f6 here, attack the pawn on e4. White tries to build a big center here with the pawns from b2 to d4. Now I feel like I think in one of the pod champs I mentioned that someone should play it. I think maybe Anna Kramlich told Virtual to play it in PogChamps 5. It's an okay opening, but I think there are drawbacks to it for sure, because now he doesn't get the central control. He doesn't get the big white center. I finished my development. We're going to end up in a situation with both the bishops developed here. He goes a4. I'll play a6 so that I have the retreat square. And now white is pushing this great pawn chain. I'm going to castle. And I'm going to go d5 next move, rook e8 and bishop g4, and all my development is completed. He's pushed all these pawns which are doing nothing, and he's going to lose the game very quickly after take, because I just take and go like rook e8, and he's going to have problems in the center of the board here very, very quickly. Let's just go rook e8, threaten to mate him. And now I guess I can take the pawn, but I'd rather finish my development first. And now I'll go bishop f5, and it's a very, very good position. Traxler attack is playable, but it's very much, in my opinion, a cheese opening. Let's just take the pawn. Yeah, because it's unrated, I can play people of any level. So it's not just going to be 700s. It's not going to be 1400s. I will play occasionally 18, 1900s too. Okay, I'm going to go here and pin the knight because I want to put a lot of pressure on the central pawn. So let's go here. Pressure on the knight, pressure on the pawn as well. And I'm doing very, very well here. Do you guys want the link? Okay, let me copy the link. You should be able to join. I'll put the link here. You should be able to join any time, you guys. So okay, now he goes knight e6. If I take knight takes is no good because he hangs the queen. So if I take, he has to take, and then he loses. So takes loses, and if he takes with the queen, I can take the horse, and now it's queen king side. It's completely compromised here, or what's it, compromat as they would say in Russian. Let's take on f3. Goes bishop e2. I'll play queen f6 back. I just want to bring this tower into the game, so I'd like to double stack. That's why I dropped it back. I put pressure on the pawn again, and now I just want to go for the double stack on the e file. That's the goal. Okay, goes bishop g4. I think I can just play queen g6. The rooks guard each other, and now I pin the bishop, and I'm going to win the bishop with either h5 or f5 next turn. Now, oh, I mean, he played queen f4. I mean, he hung the rook. I guess I'll just take the rook now. He should have traded the rooks first, but it doesn't change much. We'll trade down because in this position I have an extra rook and a horse, so this will be winning very soon. Do I think it's fair to solve these lower rated players? It's unrated, so it's unrated, it's educational. I think a lot of people learn from it, so I don't see any downside to it. Even they learn from it too. So let's just trade the bishops now. Again, one thing that I'm a big proponent of is trading down when you're way ahead. When you have a lot of extra material trading down, yeah, if it's rated, maybe you can say it's different, but it's unrated, so the players don't lose anything from this. I'm gonna go f5 to guard the pawn. I want to maybe line up the Arabian checkmate with the knight and the rook here if I can. Let's try to set up an Arabiano with knight f3 and rook g1. Goes king g3. I'm gonna go g5, take away the squares for the king to run to, and I'm just gonna mate him. I think rook g1 is actually a forced checkmate. It's actually basically forced because the king can't escape. Even here is checkmate because the pawns all hold the critical squares. King can't go anywhere. Basically, king is just stuck. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go e4 here. Did I read the book from Kasparov, my great predecessor? I read parts of it. Okay, I'm gonna play knight f3 here. We'll play Madway much later on, not now. We're doing chess for the time being. We get knight c6. Okay, now again, you don't have to play Scotch. You can play the Ruy Lopez too, but I really do love the Scotch opening for white. Why don't I do opening lessons like the one I did with the King's Indian defense? I could. Now it's completely fine for my opponent here, but I have again the easy development: knights out, bishops out, castle either way. Like I really do suggest that whatever openings you pick, you get the easy development of the bishops on these straightforward diagonals. Try to take at least a chip of the center if you can, and go from there. Knight e7 is actually a move that was played against me in the I believe this is what Pavel Blatny played against me in the Mayor's Cup. It was a GM Norm tournament held. No, was it Mayor's Cup or no? I think it was the Mayor's Cup held in New York City, I believe in October of 2001, maybe. Or maybe I'm confusing events, but I think Pavel Blatny played this against me, where black tries to develop the knight very quickly. So let's go knight c3 here. And I just want to again continue my development here. Knight e7 is the correct move after queen takes e4. This is a theoretical line. It was like 2001 or 2000. Let me see. Mayor's Cup chess. I think it was 2000 actually, because the tournament I played right after September 11th was a different one. I think that was a smart chess grandmaster norm. Or no, it was 2001. No, maybe it was 2001. Let me look at the games. Let's see. I don't know. Okay, let's go queen d1. I want to develop the bishops and castle the king. So yeah. So, all right. I'm gonna put the bishop here because it's on a nice uncontested diagonal. Do I feel old yet? I felt very old yesterday when I was talking about Legos, because I was talking about Legos and I was just going on, and then suddenly it's like someone was asking me, and it's like I actually realized that like the Lego stuff that I was talking about, which were the Octan Legos for the gas station with the truck and everything, like I was playing with those Legos like 30 years ago, and that's when it's like, wait a second, I've been around quite a while, even if I don't feel super old, because that was 30 years ago. 30 years is a long time. Okay, now I'm gonna go back and keep the diagonal. I want to go f4 and kick the horse on the next turn if possible. C4 before knight c3. It depends on the opening. I would say that if you're gonna play d4 c4 type openings, like d4 c4 knight f3, those sorts of openings, then yes, you want to push the pawn and move the knight. If you're playing e4 openings, it's much harder to get c4 knight c3, if not impossible. So let's go f4. Let's kick the horse out of the center. He's gonna move the knight back. He only has one square to go to without hanging the horse. And now I'm going to develop my bishop so I can move the queen and bring the other rook into the center of the board. And again, I have a little bit of central control with the pawns. Bishops are on very, very good diagonals. He can't contest yet. And I'm just going to finish the development in the next move or two. So it's looking very, very good so far. Very good. So 10 years ago is not the 1990s. No, you guys, the 90s was the best decade ever. Now I'm gonna go queen h5 because I can start to go after the weaknesses here, because he has a knight here. Normally black gets a knight on f6, so you never have these ideas, but because there's a knight here and there's no way to get a knight to this square to attack and defend everything, this is very dangerous for black to play. There's also a right triangle as well. Pythagoras would be proud. So no, 90s were the best decade by far. 2000s got, I mean, the problem for me as an American is that 2000s basically didn't exist because September 11th just ruined it. I mean, September 11th just killed the decade for a lot of us. Yeah, I mean, the September 11th just really put a huge damper on the 2000s. Yeah, I mean, so 2000s, I mean, like, I know the term is wrong, but to me the 2000s is almost like a lost decade in my opinion. Yeah, so now I'm gonna go rook f3 and I'm just gonna try to crush him on the king side. Black is way behind. Bishop and rook not in the game. No central control. d5 hangs a pawn, and I'm just gonna go for the kill. I'm gonna create the classic rook lift into the double stack into some kind of checkmate. Let's go here, try to take the pawn because the king is stuck, and this is very, very bad. Like, he's got all these pieces. Look at these pieces. No pieces are in the game at all. He's just getting destroyed here. Yeah, I mean, all his pieces are so bad. I've finished all my development. I can bring the rook into the board. All my pieces are active. He has one piece on the second rank, but 1 2 3, I mean, he's got 1 2 3 4 5 on the back rank. Now I'm gonna go f5. Knight can't jump, and now I also open up diagonals into sacrifices, and this is an absolutely horrendous position for my opponent. I played f5 to restrict the knight, no jump, and to open up the scope towards the pawn on h6. And it's just impossible to play this position for black. Impossible. Impossible to play here. It's just an absolutely disastrous position. Just nothing to say. Nothing more needs to be said. By the way, I think I've said this before, but the favorite chess event that I ever saw live was the World Chess Championship match in 1995 between Garry Kasparov and Vishy Anand, which was played at the top of the World Trade Center. So that was a great memory for me. Now my opponent plays f6. Problem with f6 is now he opens up this diagonal again for the bishop. So now I actually have a forced checkmate with rook takes pawn, king takes rook, and queen takes h6, because now both bishops play. And again, my opponent never got development, never got his pieces in, and it's a very sad way to lose, because even though I'm down a rook, I just checkmate with the bishops and the queen. Yeah, 1995, exactly. Yeah, tell me about the war boomer. Yeah, I was very young. I remember very well. It was an amazing experience. Like, they had them cordoned off in like this glass wall room, and they were like, it was a great experience. Now I'm gonna play e5 here. Great experience, easily the best experience of my life for chess. Let's play knight c6. So we get the Scotch. My opponent plays the Scotch himself. Now I'm gonna play knight f6 again to hit the pawn on the center of the board. If he captures, I will capture towards the center. I watched it live, yes, and I went to the best game of the match too. I was there in person along with my brother and some other kids. I think I was like in first grade or something. It was a long time ago. But we were there, and we were supposed to go to game number 9, which as most people know, Anand and Kasparov drew the first 8 games of the match, and then Anand won a great game in game number 9. So we were supposed to go to game 9, but we ended up not going to game number 9, and instead we ended up going to game number 10, which was the fateful game. First, let me play queen 7 to pin the pawn here, which was a fateful game where Gary beat Anand in the open Spanish, where he played this great sack knight to g5 on like move 14 or 13, whatever the move number was. He sacked a horse in honor of Michael Tal, the former world chess champion. Gary won a fantastic game to even up the match. He would go on to win, but game 10 was easily the best game of the match. So I'm gonna go g6 to fianchetto the bishop, because the queen's in the way here. I can't develop easily, so g6 makes sense because I can try to put a lot of pressure on the pawn. Yeah. You're in the club and in the lobby. Then if you join the event, there should be a button at the bottom where you can join the event. There should be a green button if you scroll down. Goes 92. I'm gonna play a5, maybe try to open up the file. I can also play bishop a6. I reviewed that game multiple times, I think, but it was a great game. So a4, good idea to stop the pawn from pushing. I'm now gonna go knight to b4 because now he can't kick the knight easily. Put pressure on the pawn on c2 here. And I can also go bishop a6 to activate, because it's also hard. Like I can go d6 here, pressure the pawn and develop this diagonal, or I can go this one and develop this diagonal. And I think I want to go this diagonal, this development. Best experience that was non-chess. That's a tough question. I don't know. I would say there's so many different memories that are up there. I honestly would say one of my favorites is that's one where Gary played I don't think Gary played bishop d1, bishop c1. I think that's the one where he played a very critical rook c1 move. No, he played a rook c1 move that stopped Vishy from pushing the pawns on the queen's side. There was a rook c1 move when he Vishy had pawns, I think, on b5 a4 and the knight on d4, and rook c1 stopped a c5 c4 pawn push. He goes queen e4, so I'm going to play d5. Now he actually loses because the queen can't guard the pawn, which prevents the fork. If you go back to d3, you lose it. If you go to e2, I take. And if you try to play end peasant, you actually just hang your queen on e4. So you can't play end peasant and you can't guard the pawn. I would also say beginner level, do not recommend playing this Mies's variation in the Scotch. I think it's borderline impossible to play with the white pieces. In fact, speaking of this Mies's variation, I remember so when I was like 18 or 1900 in the year 1998, I believe it was, I played in the Hawaii International Tournament, and I actually played the Mies's with the white pieces against this women's grandmaster. I believe her name was Bettina Trabert, and I actually lost in the Mies's variation with the white pieces in like 15 moves or something. It was I believe it was 1997. The game, I believe, exists in the database, so let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Yes, I think it was. Let me see if I can find the game. I'm almost certain the game exists. I think it was a Hawaii Open in 1997. Let me see if I can find it. Control F. I'm trying to find it. 1 second. I found it. Okay, we'll take a look in a second. Okay, so we get bishop takes a1. I'm going to trade the bishop in the castle. It was the Hawaii Open 1997. Yes, I found the game. I'll pull it up in a second, you guys. 1 second. Goes rook e1. I'm going to play queen a3, attack the pawn and the bishop here. I lost that game in 16 moves. 16 moves, you guys. It was 16 moves. I was close. I said 15. It was 16. Yeah. I was close though. Okay, I'll take the pawn here. Go rook b8 and rook b4 here. That just hangs the queen and he loses the game. Okay, so let me pull up the game, you guys, before we continue. This is a game, let me change the scene. This is a game from 1997, the Hawaii Open. This is a game between Hikaru Nakamura and Bettina Tribert. She was I think she was a women's grandmaster from Germany. And what did I say? So I played e4, we got e5. What did I say? Of course, I played the Mies's variation, which I just said not to play. And then we got knight d5, c4, bishop a6, played knight d2, castles, b3, f6. I took the pawn, which is a huge mistake. And after takes, rook b1, bishop b4, the queen d1, rook e8, bishop e2, knight c3. I played bishop b2. She sacked the queen and played knight g3. And I lost in 16 moves, you guys. I lost in 16 moves. So yeah, this was in 1997. This would have been, I want to say April or May of 1997. This was not the dead of summer, I don't believe. This would have been, I think, actually no, this would have been May or June. I can actually check in chess base. Let me check chess base. Let me check chess base. 1 second. Skill issue, yeah. Let me check online. Nakamura H. Let me see. 1 second. Yeah, I'm just gonna check on let me sort it by year. 1 second. Let me sort it by the year. Wait, what? Wait, what? Did I do something wrong? Wait 1 second. Age, year. Let me put 1997 to like 2000 or something. There we go. Okay. Let me see if I can find it. 1997. Okay. Nakamura versus Trabert. Oh no, the game's in chess base, but it's not. Yes. Oh, I'm wrong. It was August. It was August 25th, 1997. August 25th, 1997. You guys, that's when it was. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, back to the event. Let's keep going. And we'll keep rolling. But yeah, I just want to point that out, you guys. So let's keep going. Next game. Oh my god. Or wait, what was it today? Wait, no, wait, what? Or wait, was that just chess base? Wait a second. Or was chess base just put? Wait a second. What the fudge? Oh, I'm gonna play a Sicilian. Okay, I'm gonna play e6. Maybe it said updated today. There's no way. I'm sorry. Now I'm actually bothered. Wait, that's got to be fake news, right? Wait, I have to find an actual date. Oh no, it wasn't. That was chess-based screwing up. Never mind, it wasn't. No, actually, no, chess-based screwed up. That wasn't what it was. It was I found an article. It was or wait, no, this is no, that's May. That's 1990. The 1996 Hawaii International was in May. I'm trying to see. No, it was held in April, you guys. It was held in April. So no, my memory was right. I said April or May. It was April. It was held in April. Sorry, that was just chess-based messing up. Never mind. That was just chess-based messing up. No, it's held April 15th to 24th. The Outrigger Prince Kuhio International Chess Tournament was held April 15th to 24th, 1997 at the Outrigger Prince Kuhio Hotel in beautiful Waikiki. So, okay. Let's play knight f6. So yeah, my brain was right. My brain was right. No, I said April or May, and then I said I thought it was probably May or June. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna play d5 and open up the center. Yeah, no. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, chess base basically I think just said save the game, and that's why it said that. Yeah, no, now I get it. Yeah. Yeah, initially I said April and May, and then I said I thought it was probably May or June, but yeah. So anyway, let's go d5, build a big black center here. Knights are out with the pawns here. Oh, that was classical chess. That was like very, very slow chess. Yeah, very, very slow. But anyway, back to the point of what I was saying though. That's why certain openings should be very careful what you play. Very careful. So yeah. But don't ask me why I remember that, by the way, because it's pretty ridiculous. I'm remembering games that were like 26.5 years ago. Like, that's just ridiculous, let's be honest. But most top chess players do remember that sort of stuff, just so you guys are, in case you guys are wondering. Take with a pawn. So if you aren't able to remember what you were eating for breakfast yesterday, your chance of becoming a top grandmaster and a serious chess player, it's probably just not meant to be, and you should find another career. Let's play bishop d6 and attack the pawn on f4. It's good you don't have Alzheimer's. I will tell you guys, for all the jokes I make about chess, actually, I would say the single biggest benefit, I know there haven't been scientific studies proven, but I would say I do believe firmly that the single biggest benefit to playing chess, like, you know, if you go on chess.com and play like 3 games every day and you play different openings or whatever, I think that is the single biggest benefit to playing chess. I do believe that it does mitigate the chance of you getting dementia, Alzheimer's, all those different things, because I don't think there's a single grandmaster I've ever heard of who got like dementia or Alzheimer's. Now of course there's no way to like test it, like, because you'd have to wait many years, but I have never heard of it of like a grandmaster ever getting Alzheimer's or dementia ever. Bobby didn't get dementia or Alzheimer's. Bobby was just a little bit cuckoo. There's a difference between being cuckoo. Let's go d4 here. Yeah, no, there's a difference between being cuckoo and just not remembering anything. Slight difference, you guys. Slight difference. Anyway, okay. Yeah, a little bit cuckoo. Okay, you guys. Anyway, let's go bishop e6. My opponent castled the queen side, so he has big problems. I got the standard development with these 4 pieces. I also have a little bit more space here because the pawn's in the center of the board. Okay, do we try to play like a let's try to be like the Trojans. Let's play the Trojan horse here. I'm going to sack the bishop. This is what we call the classic Greek gift. I'm going to sack the bishop with bishop takes a2. It looks like it's free. It's like when you get that free horse, it's like, oh man, we got the free horse. And as we all know, the horse wasn't actually free. And it's going to be the same thing here, where I'm going to go for a checkmate on the queen side here. He's also, once again, pieces not in the game. These pieces are very passive. So yeah, he goes c3, so I'm gonna go queen a5 and go, oh wait, oh my god, I just hung a piece. What am I doing? Let's take. I'm actually losing here if my opponent knows what to do. Not paying enough attention. I thought he played c4, not c3. But anyway, we still go for the checkmate. And the move that he has to find here is a very tough move, because there's certain types of moves in chess that are generally very difficult to spot. The 2 most difficult moves in chess to spot, actually I'll say it after the game. No, let's go here. 2 most difficult moves to spot in chess are backwards knight moves, like knight to c1, and backwards bishop moves. Backward knight moves and backward bishop moves are the 2 hardest ideas to see in chess. It feels like you're still resorting to tricks instead of teaching proper chess education. Most of these games I'm playing very standard. This is the only one where I actually played for a trick. Yeah, most of these games I'm not playing for tricks. This one, yeah, I am kind of going a little bit for tricks with the classic Greek gift. So I'll go here, and my opponent has all these pieces that are very passive. So even though he has a lot of extra material, they're very passive, and his king is very weak here, and the king is the most important piece. Okay, let's go knight d5 here. I'm gonna go a5 a4, try to open it up. Obviously I'm down here, but all these passive pieces that are not active give me chances. He lost his job to educate when he started entertaining. He goes b3. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go a5 a4. I do have some grip here towards c3. I'll play Mad Way later, I think, but not right now. Let's go check. Let's fork the king, the rook, and the bishop. Probably some very bad innuendo from that comment, but let's go knight e3. I'm now gonna go a4. He can't do anything. I'm trying to rip open the a file to use the rook here. And it's all very bad. I think I'm actually already winning here. I'm gonna play Mad Way later on, you guys. I sort of rage quit, but I think I should be able to get at least back to where I was before I stopped. Fundamental mating patterns also are quite important. That is a true point. I think I'm gonna go c4 here. If he takes, I can play knight takes c4, forking the king and the queen. I open up the diagonal. All my pieces very well placed. Queen is active, Bishop is active, knight is all up in his business, the rooks are on 2 great files, so all my pieces are actively, there's all these pieces, especially these 3 pieces that aren't in the game. So I think now I go c3, forking the king and the queen with the pawns, and I'm gonna win very soon. Master shove will be later probably, so I take the queen, check and mate in 1, and there we go. So let's keep going. Next game. Okay, so we're playing Aryan, 730 rated. Hikaru streaming on Friday. Yes, you guys, I normally stream Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and not on the weekend, but with the bullet brawl now being in play, I do stream on Saturday too. Do I smoke Zavid? No, I don't, you guys. I don't do these things. Let's see. Let's play d5 and let's just take the center of the board here. We're playing proper chess. We're not playing any of these stupid memes. Like, there's that idiotic streamer Hikaru Nakamura. All he does is like make jokes, play stupid openings. I mean, he's really ruined chess, frankly, with all the stuff he's done, because now, like, when serious people try to come in and we try to watch chess and try to learn, all you hear about is like the Bongcloud or you know, like the wooden shield and peasant and all these stupid things that like don't make any sense. So, like, you know, when those of us who are trying to improve at chess, we go look at things, all we hear are these stupid memes, and it's really a shame what he's done to chess, frankly. Let's play knight to c6 here and develop our pieces. So all right, let's keep going. Let's play e4 here. I have easy development with my pieces here. Easy development. Bottom line is, if you want to play against the Bongcloud, do what I did against Jan-Krzysztof Duda in the Global Chess Championship. He tried to play f3 and king f2. So he played a version of it. Let's just develop our pieces, get our king out. He's way behind. 1 2 3 4 5 pieces not in the game. Not in the game at all. Am I going to play classical chess in the future? Absolutely. Let's go bishop d4. I don't want to trade here because he's got nothing developed. No development. So I'm going to bring in all the reinforcements. So goes queen a3. I think I just take the pawn with a check here. It's good to see you guys too. Yeah. I'm just going to take the pawn and get a new queen. Everybody wants queens. Someone made a chessable course on the Bongcloud. That's hilarious, actually. Yeah. How do you join? You need to be a member of the fan club to join, you guys. It shouldn't be that difficult, though. Okay, plays king d1. I will get a new Pokemon. Let's promote here on h1. Lifetime repertoire is a Bongcloud. Let's go check here. I mean, it's a disaster. Am I playing the US Championship? No, I will be in Morocco, actually. Speaking of a Pokemon, I'll be in Morocco filming something there. So okay, let's just take the knight with checkmate next game. So no, I won't be playing the US Championship. Let's play e4. And he played c6 now. Caro-Kann, I'm going to play the opening I played it as a child, which of course is this classic exchange Caro-Kann with bishop d3, c3, and bishop f4. Again, same theme. You see how I get the bishops on the active double diagonals, and I have very easy development with the knights, and I can castle the king. Yeah, so it's like same thing. I get the bishops developed, I get the knights developed, I castle. Very free-flowing openings. The development is very easy. Play queen b3. So, thoughts on the World Rapid Championship in Dusseldorf? Fabian is going to play. I don't have any thoughts. I think it's I don't really understand the purpose of the event, frankly. It just seems weird to me. One second, I'm gonna sneeze, you guys. I think maybe not. No, maybe not. I thought a sneeze was coming. Let's play 92 here. But no, it's not, I guess. So let's develop our pieces here. Let's take with the pawn. Now I open up the file. Of course, I capture towards the center with the double pawns. Let's go knight f3. Just finish our development here on the king side. I'll try Madway later. I think he takes. I will take back. Will you be my dad? Sorry, you guys. I'm too busy right now to be a dad. Okay, let's retreat to, I guess, e3, because if he ever pushes in the center, it opens up the diagonal. Worst feeling when you want to see it and you can't. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'll go here to stop him from getting rid of the bishop. He has knight f4 or bishop f4. g3 cuts off both ideas. Okay, I'm gonna go b4, try to expand. I also create the whatever, I create the sort of the right triangle with the pawns here. I'll play b5 to kick the knight away so he can't ever push in the center. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move my king. In endgame, you don't actually know. Let's try to be proper. Normally I would play king e2 at the top levels when queens are off the board. Sometimes you want the king in the center for the end game, but I'll just castle and keep it simple. What I want to do is double the rooks on the file and really put pressure on this pawn, because he can't push it, because b5 will always capture the pawn. How long do I stream? It depends. Sometimes I stream for like 3 hours, sometimes I stream for like 7 hours. Like yesterday I streamed for 9 hours. Goes f5. Now he's trying to play f4, which is very dangerous because he opens up the file. So I'm gonna go here to stop f4. If he takes, then suddenly I have f3 to trap the horse. So the horse on e4 looks good, but it's not a bastion. And if you can't get a bastion for your horse, the pawns can always kick the horses out of town. So you have to be very, very careful when you put a horse in the center of the board like this, where there's a pawn that can move and attack it. So he takes, so I take, and you see the horse has no squares here. Actually, horse is completely dominated here. There's just no jumps once I get f3 to kick it out of town. He goes h6, which is a good move. I think I will still play f3. I want to get this horse out of here. It's all up in my business. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start pushing the horses back even further. I'm going to push the horse back more. Go back, horsey. Actually, that was a mistake by me. I missed that he could take the pawn. I guess I'll just take the knight. It's still very good for me, but okay, let's take the pawn. I was annoyed because I lost the theme of what I was trying to play for, but it's still good. Okay, let's just go f4, I guess, here. Stop him from pushing the pawn. It shouldn't be too late to join the arena. No, it shouldn't be. But it goes b6, another good move to get the knight back. I will go here to put pressure on the pawn. b6 was very important because again, I was trying to trap the horse with rook d1 to where the knight would have no squares, basically. So b6 was good because it supports the knight moving back. When I started playing chess, I started playing chess when I was 7 years old. Take the pawn. He loses the rook here. Am I done the boat to this Gambit Peter? No, in fact, I probably will get to it after we finish with this. Yeah. Okay, let's just take the pawn. I love your YouTube channel, bro. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. So now I'm going to go b4. The pawns support each other. I don't want to hang the pawn. Pawns support each other everywhere, actually. And this horse is very, very vulnerable now. It's very vulnerable. I feel like this guy is definitely not 1200. Let's put it that way. I'm gonna go king f3 here. He's not cheating, but he's smurfing. His rating is much better. The moves he's playing here are much better. Like, he would have lost this knight multiple times and he keeps defending it. So he's not cheating, but he's like not on his main account or something. He's probably about, like, I would say like 1700 is my guess. I'm gonna go here and then bishop d4 to create the wooden shield. This is a bastion here, but the knight is actually not able to attack anything. Let's take with a pawn here and take. Why doesn't Hassan like you? I don't know. That's just my perception. I could be wrong, but I don't think he does. And now I'm up a pawn. The knight doesn't really have squares to jump to. Goes knight c1. Let's go. I think I'm gonna play rook a6 to hit the pawn on h6. Let's just take the pawn, and now I'll take the knight with the king. And even though even though black has central pawns, I have two connected pawns that I just push all the way up the board. Let's go, I guess, here. Okay, let's go g4, break the chain here if we can. Let's take the pawn. I'll check and play rook g1 and rook Okay, let's go rook e1, and now king d3. I capture the pawn, and these two pawns will win the day for me. Yeah, we just run the king all the way up the board. Oh, they're 1600. They're 1600 in rapid. Okay, so what I said was right. Yeah, he's not cheating, but he's much stronger. Much stronger. Okay, let's play e4 again. Get e5. Okay, I think again I'll stick to the basics. I don't really want to get too far. Knight c3, the Vienna, like knight c3, bishop c4, also very playable. I probably would recommend either the Vienna or the Scotch, as long as you're aware of the Charlie horse mate with like bishop c5 and queen f6. It should be it's a reason. It's pretty good opening to play. Oh wait, the 2023 World Rapid and Blitz Championship doesn't have a venue yet, but it's rumored to be held in Dubai. The 2024 event will be held in Austria. Can you tell me where to Google that, so I can take a look at that afterwards? I had not heard anything about Dubai for the World Rapid and Blitz. I hadn't heard anything. I had not heard anything about that rumor. Austria as well. I'd heard nothing about Austria. Bongcloud chessable, I can find that myself, so you don't have to send link Ryan likes chess, but still, yeah. Let's go e5 attack. Tarjay tweet. Okay, let me go to Twitter. Tarjay tweet. Okay, let's see. Queen e7, good move. I'll play here to break the pin. Knight still has to go back, and now I get quick development with knight c3, knight d5. Let's go knight c3. I want to go knight d5 here. I'm looking to see if I can find it. Maybe it's a reply. I see it now. Now I see it. Okay, let's go knight d5, attack the queen, and hit the pawn at the same time. Okay, let's just castle. Good development, good fundamental chess here. I have developed the bishop, developed the knight. Just bring the rook. Every piece is in the board here, or every piece is on a great square. He has no development yet, so he's way behind in the development, and all my pieces are on great squares as we move forward. Now, this isn't really a trick, but it's more to illustrate why you have to develop your pieces quickly, because the problem here is his king is stuck in the middle. The queen and the rooks are on the back rank. Again, these pieces are on the first two ranks. If you don't develop your pieces, don't get pawns forward, and you're all on these two ranks, you're going to end up in a lot of trouble. You're going to end up in a lot of trouble here, because my rooks are on the two open lanes. I'll probably do the Botez Gambit speed run, and then like Master Step or something. So we'll see. Thank you to Hammy Down. Thank you so much to Hammy Downs for subscribing. Thank you to Hammy Downs. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you to Hammy Downs. Appreciate it. So I think my opponent's just completely lost here. It's just no development. You've got to develop your pieces very quickly. I mean, there's no foolproof development. I think that when you're talking about development of the pieces, so there's certain ways that certain openings that are much better for it. Okay, he goes d6 again. Position was already lost, but now he's going to lose due to the fossil here, because he's going to lose the rook. Yeah, it's just going to be a fossil here on h8. I grew up with hand-me-downs. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. It's all good. Prague or Gukesh. In classical, definitely Gukesh. In rapid, I don't know. Rapid, not sure. Resigns. The checkmate would have been king takes pawn to guard the rook, but then I have bishop b5 check, cutting off the square, and this is basically checkmate. The king can't go here, can't go here, all the squares covered, and after queen h8, it's simply checkmate. Okay, we got Adams Jr. again, e4. I do recommend these openings though, like for people who are going to watch this video even on YouTube. Like, I strongly do recommend playing these openings, like the Grand Prix and the Scotch. They both these openings got me to 2300. They were openings my stepfather taught me, and I think they're amongst the best openings just because of the easy developmental play at the start. Very, very easy development. Again, develop the knight, bring the bishops out, castle the king. Very simple. And here again, I have multiple options. Like, I can castle either way. I can castle either way here. I do not like the Italian. Thank you to Ermos for a sub. I think the Vienna is good. I think Vienna is fine. I think that the Spanish is relatively okay. What I don't like about the Spanish, and much more so in the Italian for sure, is that in the Italian it's all about a couple of pawn breaks in the center of the board. As a beginner and intermediate player, that's not what you want. You want open positions. Like, this is an open position. There have open files. You have easy diagonals, easy placement for the knights. Like, you want easy piece play, and the Italian becomes very cloggy, and it's all about pawn breaks. And at the top level, of course, it's a great opening, but at like a beginner level, you're not gonna know how to play c3 and d4. It's just not possible. You could play the true Italian, like the Gucci piano, not the Gucci pianissimo, with c3 and d4. That is true, but after knight f6 you have to know like the pride liver and other stuff. So let's go rook e1 here. Rook's in the center of the board. Bishop's very active. Great diags, great rooks. Now what I want to do at some point is explode the center and open up this diagonal. This bishop is good. This one is great, obviously. It's uncontested, but I want to open up this diagonal because I also have rooks in the center of the board too. So I want to get these lanes open here. So I need to eventually force e5 in. So let's go e5. Now here it's actually really good, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually not going to win the game on spot with queen takes queen. I'm going to go here to illustrate the point if I can. He'll move the queen and I'll take, and you'll see what I mean. Okay, move the queen away, dude. I mean, of course he hung the queen again. Okay, I'm trying, dude. Come on, dude. I'm trying. Scotch 4 knights is pretty reasonable. Okay, I mean, I can't. Sorry, I can't. I just can't. Yeah. Let's just take the knight, take the rook. GG's. Yeah. Let's just trade the rooks. He resigns. Let's keep going. Yeah. Okay, goes g3. So I think now, again, as I said many times, this guy's 1800, so it's understandable, but at least at beginner level, do not try this at home. Do not let your opponent get the big black center. Go here, easy development. Knights out quickly, bishops out too. Develop the bishops, castle the king. Let's go here. He'll take. I'll take. I'm gonna play like bishop e6. Only up game today. I'll play Madwood later, not right now. Goes e4. I have multiple castles here. I'm gonna go this way just because I get the rook in the center of the board. And now I can also play like g5 h5 and attack very quickly when he castles. Goes knight b3. I think what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna explode the center immediately, because now the d file is gonna open up here. Multiple castles, you could go either way, long or short. Let's go e3. Try to fossilize the bishop and create the checkmate here. I could have played rook e8 too. We were watching your stream at CCC. What is CCC? Oh, Charlotte Chess Club. Nice. I might be there in the future. Actually, I might show up there for an event down the road, possibly. We'll see. Castle is a good move because it guards the bishop and it stops the threats towards the pawn at f2. I don't actually like my position in this game. It's not a good position for me. Can I speak Farsi? I speak words. I don't really speak it. No. It's take and take. Yeah, my opponent's played pretty well. I actually have no advantage here out of the opening. Go here and guard the pawn. I need to reserve my tickets for North Carolina. That's not, or not North Carolina, sorry. For Charlotte, you mean. It's not, nothing is set in stone. It's a possibility. What I would say about that is that it is going to depend very largely on what happens at the Isle of Man tournament at the end of October as to whether I go there specifically or not. So yeah, I'll play. I really want to keep my bishop on the board, so I'm gonna go here and guard the pawn and hit the rook at the same time. David Lee Ross said you need 20,000 hours to master anything. That's probably true. Problem with chess is that you know what the problem with chess is though. Even if you spend 20,000 hours on chess, if you're an adult and you do it, you still will not be able to get past a certain level. That's what's so elusive and mysterious about chess. I'm gonna go f6 here, just guard the pawn. Yeah, that's what's so elusive about chess, is that if you don't start at a certain age, no matter how many hours you put in, you can't get past a certain level. Let's go Rook E8 here, claim the open lane, try to create the kebab. I think I still have C6 to kick the knight, but I'm going to leave this knight here as long as I can and try to improve first. I can always kick the knight either way, but I can also just improve first because C4 is not a move. I mean, maybe now C4 is lurking. Well, let's just go Rook E8. Let's claim the lane. I don't have an advantage here, by the way. I'm gonna move the king. Yeah, you get to a certain level. Let's go here. I want to retreat the bishop so I can't let him trade. So I have a square, no trade of the knight for the bishop. Yeah, with perfect play, this would be a draw. I still think that I have a slight advantage. Like, for example, if I was playing Magnus, I think Magnus would play with black. If I had black piece against Magnus, I would also probably try to play on. Although white could maybe claim something too, because he's got a little bit of a central pawn thrust potentially. Let's go b5 and Rook e3. I should go on Joe Rogan. I would obviously go. I mean, I've said it for a long time. I mean, if you want to have me on, I would gladly go on. Let's make a check and play bishop d6. But again, I mean, I don't really expect that to happen. Let's just go back. I'm trying to dominate the horse a little bit here from getting into the game. Go king c7 here. Yeah, the two podcasts that I've said, I mean, I've said this for years now that I would go on if they asked me, were basically Hot Ones and Joe Rogan. Those are two that I would do if they even mentioned it to me. Yeah, good g6, take away knight f5 here. Let's go here. Will he take the poison pawn? If he takes the pawn, he's getting his horse trapped again. Yeah, I would go on Hot Ones, absolutely. Yeah, he ignores it. So the one advantage I have in this position is a slight pawn push on the king side. I have a slight advantage because of these pawns. Go h5. I mean, I have rook f7. Like, it's a little bit dangerous here for white in the endgame. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play g4 to fix the weakness for the rest of the game. The bishop will always be eyeing this pawn on g3. Now, I don't actually know which way to take. My gut intuition is that I should take away from the center. The reason I think I take away is because the outside pawns are better. Like, the pawns are one square away, whereas if I take here, the knight it's hard to push because the knight always covers it. But here the knight doesn't cover h4. The knight doesn't move in a ginormous L shape. Like, it does not move in this ginormous L. So let's go check and rook f3, and I'm going to go after this pawn again. Maybe not, actually. There's knight e5 still, but this should be good. Yeah. Take, go here, go after the pawn. G7 strat. I don't even know what the G7 thing is. Yeah. Oh no, my opponent's not sus. The game, the way I've played, the moves have been a little bit too easy for him. That's the problem. For the most part, the moves have been too easy. I don't think that, I mean, I think with perfect play, this is still a draw, but I don't think my opponent will draw this. I think I'm winning here because I have the outside juicer. Yeah, now I check and take, and I should be winning here because the king is too passive. We have the classic kebab on the second rank as well, which is very brutal. Like, I start sneaking in with the king here, and his king is so passive on this back rank, just cut off by the rook. I go here, I go after the juicer, and this should be winning. Actually, it's probably not winning with perfect play, but I will win the game. King f3 might have been wrong, actually. I'm gonna try to swing my king over and eat the juicers on the queen side, actually. Let's go here. I want to go like g2 maybe. Yeah, I'm trying to win the pawns here. I don't think he's gonna be able to survive. Yeah, let's go. Takes here. Yeah, it wins. So he can't trade to the end game. This should be winning. I'm not 100% sure that's winning, but it should be. His king is too wide. King is too wide here. Let's go check and trade, and this must be winning. Like, this endgame should be winning here. I just take the pawn and the king gets over. He can't, he's just a little bit too slow. Yeah, and now the pawn just rolls through. Let's cut the king. Okay, resigns. Let's keep going. That was a pretty good game. He played very well. Okay, let's go e4 again. Two more. We'll play two more. Let's play the Grand Prix, which as I said is what I played as a kid. Very simple. Knight, 2 pawns. Develop the knight behind the pawns. Bring the bishop out. Push the pawn. Try to castle. Very, very free flowing opening. Very free flowing. Let's go bishop c4 and d3 and castles. Or let's castle first. Doesn't really matter which order I do it in. Go d3, and now it's very simple. Knights are out. This knight behind the pawns. Both knights develop. Bishop out. Castle. Only the queenside pieces to remain. Try to bring the queen, hit the pawn, and eventually move the bishop and bring the rook in. Very, very free flowing. Go here. I want to move the bishop. Bring the rook in. Bring the boys to the party with bishop d2, rook e1. Maybe f5, bishop h6. Also an idea as well. So let's go f5. I'm just going to bring all the boys to the party, try to use the diags here, and I really like my position here. Grand Prix is played at the top level, but not the way that I played it as a kid. Sometimes they play it like with bishop e2. They play like e4, f4, knight 3, and bishop e2 sometimes. Just drop back. And now, of course, he just reopened it. So now both diags are open. This diagonal, big problem here. Big problem here, and the knights are jumping into the center immediately. Do I think I have more of a fan base than Max due to online streaming? Obviously. I mean, that's... Oh, man, I get checkmate with the bishops. Oh, no. This is just checkmate. Oh, no. Yeah, it's actually a forced checkmate in 2. I think if he moves, he gets... I push, and then I get a new Pokemon, and if he doesn't, I checkmate him with my other queen. So it's just all over. Yeah, I take, and now the bishop plays on a diagonal. He can't capture because he's pinned. And so he goes over, and now I go queen g7 mate. And again, as you see, the opening was nothing super special, but the plans were very straightforward. Anyone could understand that plan and find that plan. Doesn't mean they'd win the game that way, but that plan would exist regardless. Yeah. Okay, he plays d4. d4 is an opening. Now again, with black, you can't always get the same kind of setup, so I'm gonna play knight f6, e6, d5, play the queen's Gambit decline. Kick app improved a lot on Android. That's awesome. So he plays the London system. Let's go for one of the stronger systems. Let's play c5 and queen b6, go right after him immediately. And now I'm gonna play knight 6, put pressure on the pawn. Already he's messed this up a little bit. Yeah, trying to put a lot of pressure. If he takes, he yields the center. Okay, he goes knight e5, but I'm gonna take, and now he could lose a pawn here. Actually, you know what's funny? I think I can take here and just go for a win. So I fork the king and the knight on e1 and g1, and if not, I just take, and now we can do the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm just up a pawn here. Scoreboard, I mean, I have a good score, but oh, he's trying to hit me with bishop b5. Nice. So I'll go a6 to cut him off. No bishop b5. Is Daniel not available today? What do you mean is Daniel not available? I don't know what you mean by that. Let's go e5, hit the knight and create the big black center, a double purpose threat, and it's simply game over. Let's go check. Can't castle the king. I'll obviously recapture next turn, but now I have to move the king. I take, no castling allowed, and he's gonna lose the game. Let's go e4, takes bishop g4, gg, why not? Actually, king e3 runs into d4, checkmate. That's just GG. King can't go back to either d2 or e2. It's covered by the bishops. Queen covers all the squares on the f file as well. King can't go anywhere. GG. That's why you don't play the London system. Okay, again, I'm gonna play d5, play the queen's gambit declined here. Very straightforward. Yeah. Let's play knight f6 here. Who's knight f3? I think I'm gonna play bishop d7 and castle. Are you and Danny good friends? We're on fairly decent terms. Yeah. Let's play h6. Oh, there's one thing that Daniel's like at the center of something else, which I think a lot of people don't know. And maybe down the road they'll know, because without saying it, I mean, there were a lot of things he was saying about a certain player behind the scenes that led to certain things happening. So we get e3 played here. I'm going to take the pawn on c4. I think I'm going to play c5 here and then maybe queen a5. Let's go c5 here, attack the pawn on the center of the board, maybe take some castles. So let's see what we get here from I am Oscar Mike. So he castles. I can take the pawn. I can also castle. I'm going to castle the king out of the center of the board. So waiting for a move from I am Oscar Mike. There's d takes c5, maybe knight e4 is a move as well. Let's see. Goes queen c2. I'm gonna take the pawn on d4 here. Slight mistake for my opponent because now there's some pressure on the center of the board. Some pressure. Let's go knight c6. Go after his pawn in the center of the board here with the bishop and the knight. Plays d5. Now this maybe is an okay move, but I think it's bad because I had knight a5 to hit the bishop and everything is under attack in the center of the board here. Yeah, everything's under attack in the center of the board. Na 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 na. What's the plan after the arena? I'll probably do the, I don't know, maybe I'll do the Botez Gambit speedrun. I might also just play some more Blitz because my rating is actually fairly decent, and if I can get to 3250 I'd be pretty happy. Now I'm simply up a horse here, or up a bishop I should say, so I should win the game pretty soon. Let's go queen f8 and just move the knight back. Very, very good position. Let's finish our development, pin the knights, and I can just bring the last boy to the party with rook d8 or rook e8. The pattern on it sure is like a chessboard. Yes, it is, exactly. Now I forked the queen and the rook, and I'm just going to trade all the bishops and the knight off the board immediately. I'm just going to get rid of all the pieces here, and at the end of the day I'll have queen and 2 rooks, and I'll have the queen and a rook here. Well, I traveled to Toronto for the let's take, trading off the first set, trade off another set of pieces. Trade off the knight for the rook, and now I have a queen and 2 rooks versus a queen and a rook, and now the goal is to take the open lane and trade everything off the board if I can. Yeah, that's the goal. So at the end of the day I'm gonna have an extra tower, and if I have an extra tower that makes me the king of Spain. So let's see what he does here. Actually, I don't know why I said that, but anyway, let's go. Yeah, that doesn't even make sense. Let's go queen d1 check. I don't know why I said that, but whatever. Let's take the pawn. Yeah, like that doesn't make any sense at all. Sorry. He checks. Now the one thing I have to be careful of is not to allow some kind of repetition here, so I assume I drop back. Yeah, let's just block with the rook. The king of Spain is known for his towers though. Wait, seriously? Let's go here. There's no checks available anymore. I cover all the squares. Isn't this a Botez song actually, the Tripolowski? Let's go check and just cover up everything. I'm just going to cover up everything with queen g6 here. Just covering everything with the queen and the rook. Bummed to hear Dan saying this. Come on, you guys. Of course it has nothing to do with me. Okay, now I'm going to go queen b6 and trade out the queens. Very simple. Yeah, let's just take. Time for one more game. Oh, we're playing Darks, who is actually a streamer, by the way, on Kick. Playing Darks here. Let's go e4. He plays d5. Scandinavian, an opening that I think actually is quite decent to play as a beginner. One of the openings which I do actually recommend. Let's go knight c3 and bishop c4 again, trying to follow the basic themes. Get my pieces out of the center of the board as quickly as possible. Do I recommend 5-minute games for beginners? No. Now bishop e6 is a move, but it's a little bit of a cheese trying to trade. Now again, in the Scotch opening you already the pawn, so you can develop it. Here the pawn is in the way of the bishop and there's no development, so I don't really like this from Darks, although it's decent. It's not the end of the world if he knows what to do. Yeah, for beginners, don't play 5-0. Play 10-0 or play 15 minutes. Do not play 5-0. Let's go knight f3 castles, just simple chess. Actually, no, let's go d4, open up both diagonals, and then castle. All very simple, very free flowing again. Okay, now I could just take and win, but again, I want to play for themes rather than just like winning the game. Bishop f7 takes, knight h5 is a theme though that you will see every so often, but I'm gonna go h3 here instead. If he takes, I get the classic 90-degree right triangle here, where I hit everything all at the same time. Yeah, I take, and now he can't actually guard everything. Everything's under attack here. Yeah, bishop f7 was winning, but again, I mean, I could have played it, but I don't want to like end the game instantly. Let's just castle. I have an extra pawn here. I finished my development. Bishop can be developed either way. I think I'll just bring the rook so I can go there or there to hit the pawn next turn. Okay, let's stop this threat of a4 trapping the bishop because he would cover all the squares. I guess I'll just drop back again. I have multiple paths for this dark square bishop. Once I move the dark square bishop, I can bring this other rook to the party. In the work company, you see a guy who made an enormous poster. It was on FIDE Insta. No, I'm gonna go here so I can put a lot of pressure on these diagonals. How do I study chess without injuries? I mean, it's simple. Basically, you have a chessboard and you read books. That's how you study. So I'll take the tower. Let's go d5. I want to open up this diag. Actually, that's a terrible move by me, but I'll get away with it. I should have played rook d1 and then d5. Reading books in 2023. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's just take the pawn. I mean, now I'm happy to trade everything down because at the end of the day, I have a queen and a rook versus a queen and a bishop if he trades. Oops, that's check. Nice attempted tactic, but unfortunately, it's check. So you guys can read. I know. Tell me about it. Let's just take the pawn. If he takes with the queen, he loses the rook. If he takes with the king, I take with check, and I end the game immediately. Yeah, that's just GG. Actually, I go check and mate in one with rook e8. There we go. GG. Why not? All right, guys. I'm gonna use the Russian very quickly, and we will be right back. Give me a second. All right guys, what happened? No, I went to get more coffee. I was actually just getting coffee. So all right,